she was like, no, take me where I had the cyst. And blew up.
Oh my goodness.
Well, he went up there, he took it out, and
See if
because that
Josie,
was a big.
where I have one, or
Yeah, she's got 3, so,
Oh, okay.
just see.
and I got 3,
That's a good one.
and I got 2 grandbabies, so I'm done. I'm done.
They're producing kids.
Been through some stuff, it looks like.
Well, when you get your age, my age, it's easy to have twins as well.
I said it's gonna be harder now because it's like my grandbabies are out of diapers,
Dana usually has shoes like
so they're reasonable to deal with. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
there's no change in diapers there. I can talk to them as
when I turned this off last night, it said 30.
good time there, but it's like
Are they in New York?
not there.
You go to two presentations, the 6 slides, I was just dragging on.
Okay, if everybody will go ahead and find a seat, we'll get started.
And this, if there's any questions, you always bring these up. So this way, training facility, so go to the study session.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Start out with roll call.
Commissioner Allen?
Present.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa?
Here,
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Ms. Stallings? Not here. Commissioner Orr's not here. And Mayor Pinkinen?
Here. Okay. Thank you. Now, item number 2, at Commissioner's request, discuss any item concern on the rescheduled regular session agenda. Seeing none. Item 3, study items. Item 3.1, discuss upcoming special events.
Mayor, Commissioners, we've been asked to come in and give you an update on our upcoming events coming up. So I brought my event coordinator, Casey Lowry. She'll come up and give you an update all the way up to the end of the year with all the events that we host, okay? Casey?
Hello, my name is Casey Lowry, and I help coordinate some of the city events, or most all the city events, sorry. Okay, so our nearest event is the Community Cultural Celebration. It will be held on Saturday, October the 9th, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. This event is held on the north side of Government Springs Park. So far, we have several vendors signed up to come and help celebrate all of the different cultures that make up our community. Sorry, I'm nervous. They set up canopies and booths to sell their items such as jewelry, food. We also have a few different cultures coming out to perform, dance, sing, play music. Any questions about that one?
That's at the Performing Arts Pavilion at Government Springs?
Yes. It's actually going to be kind of spread throughout the north side of Government Springs.
We've had a lot of events at that pavilion in the last couple of months,
Right.
so I'm glad to see that everything's
Yeah.
looking so good over there. Thank the park department for
Yes.
mowing and everything being maintained so well.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work to it, so. Okay, and next, we have the Haunted Gym that's held at the Champion Gym located on North 10th Street. That will be Thursday, the 28th of October, and Friday, the 29th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pretty much the Parks team transforms the gym into a spooky, fun place for the public to enjoy. They have 12 different rooms that the public can walk through, all with different themes and characters. So Thursday, I want to mention that the 28th, it will be open from 4:30 to 5:30 for a lights on walkthrough for the For Our Kids group. And then the City of Enid employees and their families. And then Friday, it will be open to all public. So, any questions about that
Appreciate
one?
that you're doing a special event for the For Our Kids. Some of them are, they don't need really spooky, they're.
Right.
Yeah. So I appreciate your concern in making that available for them.
Thank you. Okay, and then lastly, for 2021, we have our Christmas in the Park event. That will begin on November the 27th, and that will occur every Saturday until December the 18th, the last Saturday before Christmas. It will start at 6 p.m. and go until 8 p.m. And it is held at Meadow Lake Park on both the north and south side of the park. It's pretty much a drive-through light experience. We also have characters dressed up, and Santa Claus is always the favorite. So, then, as you guys should know, all of our city events are free. No admission to attend. Any questions about Christmas in the Park event?
No?
I do have a question. Are you helping with the Yellow Ribbon event or any of that? You might not be advising me yet,
Yes.
so I don't want to.
Yes, Casey, you may not know, but you have a meeting at 11 tomorrow.
Thank you.
So yes, we had one meeting.
Surprise.
I have a lot of meetings. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So I guess I'll figure that out tomorrow.
Before you sit down, I got to tell you guys and ladies that these folks work so hard, and they do all kinds of stuff, and they put on these extra events, and I don't know how they get paid or what any of that part, but they are there, and they work very hard to make all these events that we do in Enid free and fun for all ages. And I just really appreciate what you and your cohorts do. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Item 3.2, discuss the best practices handbook for governing body officials.
Okay, so the only change since the last time we talked is I added on page 14, if you have your little pamphlet, a confidentiality section that talks about keeping confidential, privileged, and proprietary information generally gained during an executive session, and that it should not be disclosed or used, but that once it is made a matter of public knowledge, then there isn't a problem. And that's the only change, and it is on the agenda for passage after the resolution for the meetings, because that's an appendix. So,
Okay.
nothing else changed, and we created a little booklet. We didn't put it in the agenda that way because if we did, it wouldn't, the numbers would not be
Right.
sequential.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, we've been working on this book for quite a while. Appreciate all the work that you've done, because 90% of it came out of your office, so I appreciate that. And you took all of our comments into consideration, so I appreciate it. Okay, item 3.3, discuss possible regional police training academy.
My clicker. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
For those who don't know me, I'm Warren Wilson. I'm the commander over the Enid Police Department Training Division. What led us to ask to be heard today was a meeting we had with CLEAT a few weeks ago. CLEAT, if you don't know, is the Council on Law Enforcement Education and Training. CLEAT is the regulatory body and the primary training body in Oklahoma for law enforcement. At that meeting, the director, Brandon Claves, who's relatively new, told us that he saw the future of law enforcement training in Oklahoma going towards regional training. So we kind of wanted to discuss that with you guys for a little bit, let you know kind of our vision and our goals for the future in training and for the training center, since construction's going very, very well. So if you'll indulge me for just a few minutes. The goals for our facility, we're going to open up a second classroom with that facility. So that means we'll be able to run our police academy and have continuing education training going on at the same time. And that facility, the training facility, will become our basic peace officer academy home going forward. And clicker. And we want to become the regional training center for Northwest Oklahoma. And we believe that's our duty and our job, and that we can do that. With that, again, with Cleat saying they foresee that coming, we thought about that a while back, and having a little technical problem here. We thought about that a while back, and we decided that was going to be a role that we'd rather play. So we kind of foresaw this coming, and that's part of why we had the training center built, what we were planning on, and then the virtuous system also that you guys probably have a little bit of knowledge on. And that's one of the reasons we're getting that. And I want to go into that a little bit more with you if I could on the Virtua, but training, but I'll get to that here in just a second. Our major training goal is to enhance the public safety and officer safety by enhancing the quality of service and raising the amount and quality of our training that our officers receive. And we'd like to, and we are currently customizing that training in our academy and in our continuing education classes to fit our community's needs, our community's public safety needs. Something that we're going to be looking at in the future is a law enforcement driver training facility, a track, if you will. It's a very costly project, but it is one of those layers of our academy or blocks of our academy that's very difficult to do. Our choices right now are to send those officers for 1 week after being several weeks with us, several months with us, send them down to Cleat and have them train down there, or send them to OSU OKC and we have to pay them $700 per officer for an academy block, which again, we're not allowed to, we don't have any control over that. It's just kind of a generic driving block on law enforcement driving. And we're not able to customize that to our needs. So that's one of the reasons that we went and met with Autry Votech. We discussed, just had a cursory discussion on what maybe we could do for each other going forward. And they in turn are reaching out to other Votechs in the area to see if we can maybe pool together and work something out along those lines. What this training center is going to give us is something that we've not been able to do before. If you're familiar with the Force Science Institute, they study all kinds of force science stuff when it comes to law enforcement. And one of the conclusions they come up with were that law enforcement is generally, when they have these problems, these things, these horrible things we see sometimes, what we know is we're lacking some certain elements, and they've laid those out for us. And one of those is stress inoculation, that desensitization to stress, that being accustomed to stress. As we all know, the world is very stressful right now, but it's a different kind of stress. We're talking about being in confrontations with people, physical or verbal, and being able to handle it. And that's becoming less and less culturally normal for kids nowadays. And then pressure-tested decision-making training. That's something that we're going to be able to do with the virtual system, which I'll show you here in a second. It leads to actual mistakes in this can actually lead to physical pain. And what we call high-fidelity training, what that is integrated training. We integrate their de-escalation skills, our firearm skills, our use of force skills, and just our regular verbal skills all together in one. And that's one of the things we're going to be able to do with this system. And just to give you a quick video, I don't know if you guys have seen this one or not.
Sam 22, we're going to be checking the backyard.
Virtuous training simulations are often imitated, but lack the realism and quality needed for training under pressure in replicated scenarios. As you go through a virtuous scenario, you come to a magnitude of decision points, and based on the student's actions, the turn of events continue to reveal themselves. Learning and training opportunities grow as the student's path unfolds a unique story. The level of suspended belief, immersion, and detail within a virtual simulator is unmatched. VirTra's after-action reports scripted scenarios contain, on average, 85 different decision-making paths to resolution. The others only have a few decisions, like shoot, don't shoot, per scenario. Which system would really train adaptive decision-making and give you the competitive edge training your team lives deserve?
V180 is the version that we have purchased and on the way. So some of the potential scenarios that this system can run is active killer, ambush training, dog encounters, domestic violence, high-risk entries, hostage situations, traffic stops, suicidal persons, dealing with mentally ill, de-escalation, marksmanship, and stress inoculation again. The really interesting thing about this is we can recreate a firing range, save money on ammunition, and the wear and tear on firearms and so forth by just having marksmanship training in this system. So it's going to be very interesting. And again, it will have all those integrated skills together that'll be pressure tested. And here's another one that I thought was a little bit more than what we've seen in the past from this system. This is actually looking at the system from the inside, an officer actually going
back
through
here.
the course.
Hector, what's going on today? We were just playing, man. He's my brother. We were just wrestling out here, man. Just playing. You've got blood all over your nose and lip. I know. I just fell down and I freaking busted my lip, man.
Hector, tell the cops to get the fuck out of her property. We're not doing anything.
Ma'am, just relax. Stay up on the porch. We'll be out of here in a minute. Hey, you guys settle down, all right? Settle down. We got a few complaints. We'll be out of here in just a minute. As soon as we figure out what's going on. Hector, what's your brother's name? His name is Juan. Juan, how old is Juan? He's 17. He's 17? So tell me what happened here with you guys ended up on the lawn. I mean, we were just playing. I mean, we were just wrestling out. We're brothers. How brothers? He's got a knife. Hey, put down the knife. Come down. Hey. Ma'am, step away from him. Put down the knife. Move away from him now. Put down the knife. That's your last warning. Put down the knife. Cover me. I got him. Ma'am, I can take it. Put down the knife. Don't do it. Put down the knife. You! Gray jacket, let me see your hands. I'm not going to tell you again. Turn around, face away from me.
So as you can see, that's a pretty intense training, and then the same episode, depending on how well the officers do with their de-escalation or how well they do with their tactics, can end perfectly peacefully. So there's a lot we can do with that. And what we're some of the potential benefits we talked about for the city would be this bringing people into the academy here, bringing people in for continuing education. We'll definitely bring in people shopping and buying food, so there's going to be some tax revenue there, we think. And more importantly, we think it's going to help with recruiting officers. If we are the regional training facility in our area, we think people are going to look at that. Young officers are going to look at that and want to come and work for us. So that's kind of where we're going with that. And were there any questions?
I had a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
The training center that we have, if we open it up to others, I know that CLEAT training is provided at, I think, without cost, whether we go somewhere else or they come here. So there's no money to be made there or no reimbursement. And I don't mind helping other places do that if we have the facility to do that. But when you start talking about wanting to put together a driving track that could be used, that's going to avert a $750 per student cost, it seems to me we should be able to get some funds from maybe the state to help construct that. There's got to be some way to help us help the rest.
Absolutely. We are, we're at the very, very beginning stages of this. This is just something that we're looking at as a vision for the future.
Right.
This is not something that we're looking at doing in the next month or year or so.
Yeah.
No, this is a vision. This is a goal. We have a long-term goal, just like this training facility was 6 or 8 years ago, we
Yeah.
started talking about this.
Yep.
So, no, that's definitely going to be something that'll require a lot of work and a lot of cooperation. which is
Mayor,
another
there's
thing we're
there's a lot of options here.
Yeah.
He alluded in his presentation that we've already met with VOTEC. They're interested in being a regional training center as well. Ponca City, VOTEC is looking at starting a police academy there. And they have I believe it's 5 VOTECs in northwest Oklahoma. And they're looking at how to compile that money and be a part of this program. So this wouldn't necessarily all be city funds, so we're looking at a lot of different options on that.
Okay.
And like you said, we're at the very beginning stages of just looking towards the future. How do we make ENID a regional training center where we're bringing, police applicants or police recruits to ENID to be trained? I fully believe we provide much better training than what they were getting previously with our instructors, and we're training them to what we need in Enid, Oklahoma. So we've had 2 academies. They've been very successful. These guys have done a fantastic job, and the word's getting out. So our next academy is already full. Actually, we're over full. We've got Alva, Woodward, and Blackwell all coming to Enid, Oklahoma to have their police officers trained. And we just foresee this expanding as we're able to get instructors and have more students.
Okay, good. I like the, you mentioned during the scenarios that depending on the officer's action, the crowd's action, outcomes change.
Absolutely.
So if things are handled properly, it could end up with no shooting going on and people walk away and everybody, so I really like the idea that it's interactive enough to be able to take on what happens in the crowd, and then how did my mistake, what did that lead to after that? So they can learn in an environment where nobody does get hurt. So appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I just got one question, Chief and Captain. I know you guys probably know the answer to this, but this is our second academy. I apologize. I got your email late and I could not break free to be for the
I was a little late on the
graduation.
email too.
But I appreciate the invite. How much did we save by putting on these 2 academies and not sending our guys down to Ada with the food and everything else for the time that they would be down at Cleat?
You want to take it or we do? He's the money guy.
So we're working on those cost calculations now. Right now, we're trying to figure out what it cost us to put on an academy. Of course, that number, you're going to have to break that down per student with overtime, gas, wear and tear on the cars. So we're actually starting to do that with the second academy and also break it down. What's the cost per student? Because I don't think, from what I've read so far, we're prohibited from charging for the academy.
No.
So we're working on those issues too. And we look for some legislative changes possibly in the future. So
Okay.
I don't have the exact cost calculation on that.
We believe we're saving money already. I mean, right off the top, we're saving money. Just in overtime.
That's what I was gonna say, I knew our overtime and I knew the fact that travel time, per diem, food, and everything
And that's
else
why-
for us, that when we do our academy here, it's 8-hour day out the door.
Well, that's why Alva and Woodward and these other departments are looking to come to Enid, because you got to remember, a guyman's spending 6 to 7 hours on the road each way every week, twice a week. And so we're trying to work a program somehow that we can bring them here, because their main concern is lodging. They're not so worried about the food, but lodging is an issue when they start paying for that. So they're trying to figure out how to offset those costs. So we're going to continue to work on that. Captain Wilson's done a great job, and we see this growing over the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Went very well. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Good brief. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Item 3.4, discuss new open records request system.
Hello, I'm Captain Singleton. Probably be around February or March, we were talking to Vanessa. She kind of found some open record software to help with our antiquated system. As you know, now we use email. Somebody can write something on a paper for an open records request, or they can come in and fill that one out. One of the things that was kind of a problem was we were in the 20th century, and now it's the 21st century. So people weren't able to make requests online. I mean, they could send us an email. We tell them how much it's going to be. They send money through snail mail, and then once we got the money, we would send it back to them. And then with the city offices, they don't charge, so they had a quicker turnaround. So we never really had a way to track open records requests. So we take in the open records request, we'd fill it, we'd give it back to somebody, and 3 weeks later, they come back and say, hey, we never got that, even though we'd already put it in the file saying we'd done it. But we didn't have any way to check, so we just give it to them again. So we found this software from GovQA that allowed us to track, send out requests, or get requests electronically, or walk-ins, and we would just put it in the software itself. And then if we have to send it to another division, like detectives or 911 for a 911 call, then our administrator, which is going to be Cass Rains, he'll send out these requests to them, and he gets it back, compiles it all in one spot, and then boom, sends it out. Now, as of right now, we don't have the capability to collect any money over the internet, because we're working with Invoice Cloud. I think Summer's working with Invoice Cloud right now to work up a kind of a credit card deal where they can put in their credit card, pay for it, boom, they'll get it that same day. So if there's any questions, just ask us about it, let us know.
So some of the requests could come to you, some would go to the city?
Well,
depending on
the
what
way
they're
we've got
asking
this
for?
set up, if you look up here,
Yep.
Dana, if you'll click on the actual link. Okay, the other link. Okay, so this is what the page looks like. It's attached to our City of Enid. It's linked to the City of Enid deal. So if they go in here and they say, I want to submit a records request, it'll come up City Department or Enid Police Department.
Okay.
So if they pick city, it'll go to Vanessa. She'll send it out to the divisions for whatever request the person's making. She'll get it back, send it to whoever makes the request. If it's the police department, it'll come to us. It'll come actually to Cass. If there's something outside, like 911, if he needs a 911 call, he'll send it to the 911 coordinator. Say, hey, I need this call. It's an open records request, redact any pertinent information, and send it back. And then when he gets it back, he'll send it to whoever requested it. Some of the concern is, well, can I still just fill out a form, like on the City of Enid website? And Carol and I talked about that today. So we left the form on there, so if somebody wants to just print it off, write it out, and bring it in like normal, they can do that. Or we have these forms in our offices. They're more than welcome to come in and do it the old-fashioned way if they'd like.
Okay. I like the idea. I mean, I think we provide a lot more transparency. Transparency is one thing, but if it takes forever to get it, it seems not so transparent. So I think this is going to speed things up a lot. It'll make the program easier. I'd like to see us get to something maybe as efficient as see, click, fix. Some of my concerns might be when you get into records like that, maintaining privacy for individuals, for events, if there's social security numbers, driver's license numbers, being able to handle all those issues, but I'm sure you're thinking about all that.
Well, that's part of this software. You can, there's redaction. You can upload PDFs that we've already redacted, which redacted victims' names,
Yeah.
social security numbers.
Okay.
We're required to redact all those things by law.
Okay.
And then once that's uploaded with the redactions, or they can upload the form and they can do the actual redaction on the software, then send it out.
Okay.
And it'll actually show you if it's an unredacted copy. So let's say we send it to the DA's office, we wouldn't redact it. But if we send it to a civilian, or somebody outside the police department that's requesting the deal, it'll show that copy has been redacted.
Okay.
So, yeah, we protect everybody's information.
Okay. Good.
We just thought we'd try to make it easier for everybody.
No, that's great. I was pretty excited when I seen it in the paper this weekend, or I think it was this past weekend or past week. Yeah. No, I think it's a good move. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. That was pretty quick. Guess what? It means you get an hour for dinner. We're going to adjourn and we'll reconvene again at 6:30. That's our regular posted time, so we can't change that. So anyway, we're adjourned.